Hello, my name's Tara Russo and I have a background in teaching, in education, and also very interested in children and young people's mental health. I am a mindfulness and meditation coach for children and young people, and I also train adults in how to teach children these very important skills. My company's name is Wellbeing for Kids UK, and today I'm delighted to be invited to speak to Haresh Sood, who made the most wonderful documentary that has had acclaim worldwide, My Niece's Big Fat Delhi Wedding, and we all can't wait to see it. But with my background as a languages teacher, the first question that I would like to put to Haresh Sood, here sat next to me, is I hear that there is a Spanish version of the film. Muy interesante. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, hello Tara, and hola, should I say.
¿Qué tal?
Muy bien, gracias. Gosh, where do I start, and why is there a Spanish version? So there is a Spanish version because I studied and lived in Spain. I have a background in languages as well, and I used to teach languages, so I'm a trained MFL teacher. And I went to live in Seville back in 2001 when I actually was there for about a year, I think it was at the time, to do law with languages basically. And to be honest with you, we did less of the law and more of the languages. And and since that moment, I mean, I'm 44 now, and this is 20 years ago, so it's really half of my life that I've had a connection with foreign languages. And prior to that, I was actually in Italy in 98 to 99, and then I was in France in Strasbourg, and then I went to Seville. So what I'm trying to say is half of my life actually has been speaking different languages, as well as coming from a Hindi and a Punjabi background.
So all of your life?
Yeah, all of my life actually, but half my life in terms of European languages, I guess.
Yes.
So why is it in Spanish? Because I love Spain. I have a huge affection towards Spain, Spanish people, and I think the culture in Spain is very welcoming towards Indian culture, and they love Indian culture. There's a real sense of intrigue. Mm-hmm. You know, we're seen as exotic for them, and I love that, because when I go out and meet these beautiful Spanish women, they think I'm highly exotic, which is great.
And of course they're exotic too.
And therefore, you know, I wanted to present my culture to another culture who I know would appreciate it. And a confirmation of that is the fact that, you know, one of the beautiful women I went out with in the past went to India with me, and I actually learned through her how much of an affection Spanish people have for India, you know, and I thought, you know, it'd be wonderful to bring the film to Spanish audiences. And it has had acclaim in the Barcelona Film Festival. We got Best Trailer.
Wow.
One of the Barcelona Film Festivals, shall I say. And there was Alicante, where I won Best Actor, which did make me laugh for a documentary. Not going to complain, though. I think we were also recognised in the Costa Brava Film Festival. And then we've had recognition in one in Argentina, I think in Chile, maybe in South America. So yes, there you go.
Well, I'm very curious as to how... Technically, how did you go about the speaking being in Spanish? Who did that? How did that happen?
Oh, the actual...
Yeah, the speaking, the dubbing.
Right. So what we've had is we have actually engaged a professional subtitler, so to say, because, you know, even though...
So it's subtitled in Spanish.
It's subtitled in Spanish.
But with the original...
With the original, yeah.
Oh,
I
understand.
So, yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, we were going to do the whole recording, but the problem with this film, if we did that, was we would have to then get voices for lots of different people.
Yes.
Which was an impossibility, having shot the film in India.
Yes.
And then brought all the footage back. But this, I wanted somebody who could professionally subtitle it for me, because even though my Spanish is an okay level, I wouldn't say I'd feel comfortable doing subtitling, because I do need that done properly.
Yes, and that's fascinating from a linguistic point of view. It's very, very interesting to me. As well as being fascinated by languages, I'm also very interested in the mental health, the positive impact on mental health that creativity has for people. My aspect of that is children and young people in particular. With this creative process, have you found that it has had a positive impact upon your mental health? Because in this day and age, it's something that we all need to be mindful of.
Absolutely. And I say it in that way because my background was in, aside from my academic life, I was also a journalist for the BBC in the past. I'm talking like in the 90s. And I did various bits and pieces of amateur theatre work and stuff. And what I found over the years was that it kind of became less. But that was also something I loved.
Yes.
I never let it die because I would always dip in and out of projects like that. But there came a point, I think, in 2018
yes.
where I sort of felt it's now or never. And if you're a true creative,
yes,
you will know that feeling because it will eat away at you, or it will niggle at you as though, like, you know, you feel like there's a lot of yourself that you still need to explore, your potential. Mm-hmm. And I think for me that helped definitely with mental health, because it suddenly, I decided to do an MA part-time at Sheffield Hallam University, which is an excellent and one of the best film schools, because I was very particular about where I wanted to go. And that in itself made me feel elevated straight away, because I thought, I'm going somewhere to learn the proper craft now. And mentally and mental health wise, I think doing that, it sort of stimulated me. It really, I remember actually, it's really nice that you've touched upon this topic, because for those 2 years of doing the MA, I really had so much excitement every time I had to go into university, like on a Thursday or whatever day it used to be. And, it was just that creative release, because my day job, as you know, is
not much scope for creativity necessarily within the legal world. I don't know.
Yeah,
perhaps I'm speaking out of turn here.
No. I mean, for the listeners who don't know, so I work as a barrister full time. That's my day job, so to say. But being a barrister is a very different job to working in the creative industries. You're dealing with cases all the time, and I'd like to think I've got an interesting comical outlook on life, and there are things I see around me which do humour me. But I think when it comes to your personal enjoyment and what you actually like and all those sorts of things, I think mental health wise, yes, it really helped me. And I really would like to say, for people who are contemplating on going back to something they love, do it, because time just goes.
Life is short.
I mean, I went to film school at 41.
Yes.
And I finished it at 43. And I know there will be people out there who have settled down in careers or relationships or whatever it might be, and they feel they can't now do what they ever wanted to do, when in actual fact, if you're able to, then why not? Obviously I know people have got children and commitments and things, but yeah, for mental health for sure, and especially if you're going to do something, do it with a course.
If you can.
Yes. Yeah, if you can.
I think it's a very important message to, again, I come from the point of view of children and young people, that they follow their passion. And it seems this is exactly what you've done in moving forwards with your film project. And it is you are reaping the rewards of following that passion, because your documentary has received such acclaim, so many awards. And even if we've got children and young people listening to this, it doesn't matter if they don't get that acclaim and they don't reap those awards. There's still very many benefits to following your passion for the sake of your mental health, and it might just take the form of doing your own little blog or vlog, And you really don't know where that's going to take you, because I'm sure, Haresh, that you never dreamt that your film would receive such acclaim. How does that feel?
You know, it feels absolutely amazing, but before
Did you expect it?
Not at all. And there's a story behind about the film festivals, which I will touch upon, but I just want to say something in line with what you just said, which I think is so important for children, because I used to teach as well, and I love encouraging young children. Now, not many, well, I think probably a lot of people do know this now, but I've always shared it with everybody that I failed everything at school. I think I passed, well, I say failed everything, I think I passed 2 GCSEs. I think I got 2 Cs, maths and art, and everything else
well
was...
done for the maths.
You know, for an Indian boy.
Oh God. Don't go there.
I
have some experience of this, but you talk and I'll share my experience.
Yeah. And basically I failed everything. Felt completely useless, as you would. I was 16, you know, this lanky teenager who had not very academically a bright future, so to say. But then I kind of realised that I just need to retake and push myself and see where it takes me. And I mean, even like with law, for example, I was never forced to go into law. I mean, Indian people usually think...
Really?
You'll be surprised. It was me, because I was actually going to do politics, because I was really heavily involved in like all these political societies and things when I was younger. And then I just got to a point where I thought, when I was applying for university, I thought, I don't need to do politics to go into politics.
No.
You know, I'm glad I realised that, because I did politics A-level. I got a B in that, I must add. But after that, I thought, you know, I want to do something academic. But then, like I said, I kept the creative side of it sort of alive as well. So in line with just the encouragement to young children, I want to say, you know, never let go of your dream. And, you know, I please say this to young children, that don't feel useless, because there's plenty of people who will make us feel useless in life, and
absolutely.
And it's all in line with their
dreams and their aspirations,
absolutely,
and their fears.
Yeah, and I'm laughing because, Tara, I must tell you this. When I was in India, I will come on to India, but Indian families and Indian culture are very much like doctor, lawyer. You know, and I can use the accent. I can say the accent because I'm Indian, so you can actually as well, because you're half Indian.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we will. But you see, when I was in India, I said something really sort of, not to be controversial, but in front of all my relatives who are... So I fall in the middle of my relatives' age group. So my cousins are sort of in their 50s, late 50s. I'm 44, and their children are about sort of late 20s, early 30s.
Yes.
And I'm right in the middle. And because I'm from England, I think they sort of connect with me a lot more, because I'm probably a little bit more hip and trendy than your average.
Or perceived to be.
Yeah, I'd like to think. And I remember saying in front of them, I said, listen, all of them were sitting there once. It was my 40th birthday. I said, I'll give you one message in life, everybody. Never listen to your parents. And if you say that in India, that is really controversial. And I didn't mean it like that, because what I meant was, in a society like India and people who are Indian from here, we are usually told, even not overtly, but inadvertently, what we should be doing and how we should be doing it. There's always an undertone. I mean, I'm sure, Tara, have you not heard parents where they say, "Oh, I let them do what they want to do," but there's always a little.
There's the yes. It's implied. It's tacit.
Yeah.
It's not outwardly spoken, but the undercurrent is still there. That pressure to please is still there.
Totally.
And as you touched upon, I'm half Bengali, and possibly one of the reasons why I'm so interested in your project and interested in this is because my father didn't really impart much about Indianness to me. Certainly didn't teach me his language, and perhaps that's why I'm very interested in speaking other languages like French, Italian, Spanish, and he was very much dismissive of my interest in languages and very much wanted me to go down the path of doctor, but when unfortunately my exam results showed very clearly that science wasn't my thing, then I had to be a lawyer. And again, I had to really steel myself to say, look, Dad, I want to do languages, and I am going to do languages, so that I can understand how controversial it would have been for you to say to your family, never listen to your parents.
I think I just remember the reaction on their faces, and actually even more so because I was 40, not married, with my beautiful Spanish lady, and I was completely not what every Indian, I was not what the Indian guys, but they're meant to be. But I think because I am the way I am, and I'm also very Indian at heart, and I'm very integrating, I think they all sort of let it be, you know.
Yes.
But the message I was trying to give actually was, and I still give this message to a lot of youngsters, because when I speak to a lot of kids, and I'm sure you feel, because you're practicing teaching and you're doing your work on wellbeing, you kind of hear the parents coming through the kids.
Yes, is it your point of view, or is it a regurgitated point of view from somewhere else? And when I work with young children and teens with regards to my mental health work, I'm sometimes listening to their issues, and they're actually issues that they've taken on board from their parents. And their parents are happy for me to sometimes work with them as well to resolve the issue, because they realise that they've passed on some, I don't want to go into detail, but say for example an anxiety or a phobia, that they've passed that on inadvertently to their children.
So my message really to children is that, you know, really choose what, you know, shortlist. Don't even choose one career at a young age. I would say be open.
Because the days of a career for life are long gone. I
mean, come on, Tara, you and I both know, look how many things, you know, we've done in our time, you know, and we're in our 40s, and I sometimes look back and I think, you know, I've probably touched upon 7-8 careers by now. And and I think in our Indian culture especially, there is this fixated belief that you do one thing and that is it for life. And I remember actually when I finished film school and I was talking to people about it, it was when I was in film school, because I was shooting the documentary as I was at film school. It was part of the film school project. And I was trying to explain to people when I was shooting it in India that this is part of my film school project at Sheffield Hallam.
For which you got a distinction, by the way, didn't you? I just dropped that into the conversation.
Thank you so much. Yes, no, you're absolutely right. And I think there's only 2 distinctions on the course, maybe, that 2 or 3 possibly out of all of us. So
I think that we need to blow our own trumpets on occasion, because if we don't, that's something else that I say to children. If we are not aware of our own skills and talents and don't feel proud of them, who else is going to?
Yeah, and also do it in a humble way, I say, you know, in an encouraging way. Just like, you know, I always, like I've shared the story about me failing everything at school. So it's a bit like the story where, you know, you've got to tell people that anybody can achieve this, you know. So what I'm trying to say to kids out there who are listening, and even the parents of children who have difficulties, you know, with their children, you know, don't discourage them, encourage them to say, anything's possible, you know. So, you know, it doesn't matter if you fail. You could fail 4 times. You know, I failed my driving test 4 times. So I think I failed everything first time.
It's about the journey, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And eventually you can get there.
Totally. And I think hats off to you for the work you do, Tara, because it's a real pleasure talking about this with you today, because, you know, my teaching side has kind of gone by the side because I just don't have the time anymore.
Well, thank you, Haresh, for talking to me about how your film and your project and your life, how that has a orientation towards mental health and inspiring our children and young people. And I look forward to discussing further about your film and its impact, and I can't wait, really.
Thank you very much. Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.